I mean, I think Scott Stevens, that hit he had on Paul Kariya is one of my first hockey memories of watching the game where he nearly killed a guy on the ice. Um,
That hit was so
uh,
hard. That's what divided and actually created both North and South Korea. Because before that, it was just one Korea.
This is LA Kings Fan Talk with your boys, Rodney, Rob, Darren, and Joe.
What's up, all you cool cats and kittens? It's time to talk Kings hockey. Kings are now 2-1-1 on our current road trip. Rob, what are your thoughts on the consistently inconsistent Kings?
I'd imagine. See, I'm still sticking with. I'm okay. I'm okay with. We're 4 games above 500 now. Last time we talked, we were 3 games above 500. And it still seems like everyone wants to jump off a cliff. But I'm still okay with, because the entire NHL is inconsistent right now. I mean, when you look at the standings on both ends, and you just look at regulation records and stuff, there are so many teams that are 500. Including the Kings. We're 1 game above 500 in regulation, but we're 4 games above 500 with our overtime wins. It'd be nice to have a couple extra wins in those overtimes. We've lost some, like tonight's game. I'm still upset about that. How do you just hit a puck with your hand and but because it touched somebody else? So I could go ahead and throw a puck at somebody, and if it goes off them, then it's still a good goal. It didn't make any sense.
Apparently.
But I'm okay. I'm okay with the inconsistency right now, because our inconsistency hasn't put us in last place. It hasn't put us in like, oh my God, we're 5 games below 500, and are we sellers at the trade deadline? We're nowhere near that right now. We're still, our heads well above water right now. Don't start drowning until you guys get dunked.
Right. What do you think, Darren?
yeah, I mean, I think part of it too is we were expecting more from, like, the fans are expecting more from the team, and so we are ahead of our pace from last season. If you look at our where we were at last year at this point of the season, we were a game worse. And so to me, I mean, look at what that team did. They were pretty inconsistent to start the year, and then they kind of figured it out. Like, I think we can do that, especially with the way we score goals. I mean, last season we're down 2 goals. How many times did we come back? I think twice. We came back to win a game, and so the fact they were down, 2 goals tonight twice, and we were able to get a point out of it. I mean, the way we score goals, I think it's gonna help us go a long way. So I'm not too worried about it yet. I think, yeah.
Did you ever think you could say that about the Kings? Oh, the way we score goals all the time, we're good with it.
Yeah.
We can always come back. Didn't think that would ever happen.
Right. We just got to figure out a way to score or keep the other teams close when we face teams like Toronto, who have pretty stout defenses and can also score as well. We gotta figure out a way to manufacture some offense in those games, but that's something we'll cross that bridge when we get there, I guess.
So you're definitely not thinking we should fire McClellan or anything like that.
No, God, no. I mean, if you read every post on the freaking subreddit after the 5-0 loss, it was, this team's a dumpster fire. Kopitar's needs to be sent to the minors, and every coach needs to be fired, and Quick needs to be sold, and Dowding needs to be sold. And then, I mean, how many goals does Kopitar have in the last, like, 4 games? Like 5, 6?
No, it's something like, isn't it like 7 in his last 10 or something? I don't know.
Something like that. Because he's had two goal games, right, in the last couple, and then another one in there somewhere. So
It's good to
I
see
mean,
him scoring again because he had that stretch where he came so close to scoring so many goals and just couldn't score. So it's good to see him scoring now. Good stuff.
yeah, definitely. I mean, and another thing with tonight's game, especially, is like it's promising to see that we were able to still compete even with Doughty out. I mean, we came into the game Doughty kind of out, and you're like, oh, that's a heavy minutes guy, or is Jersey gonna be able to handle it? And I think he made a couple errors he wanted back, but you know,
All
he
right,
got there at the end. He got a point.
let's start there. Everybody's favorite topic. Let's start with
Oh my
Sean
God.
Dursey. Rob, how do you think Dursey did on his strong side?
Here- I am. Here's what I'm positive. I'm positive about Dursey that he is dangerous, and that goes both ways.
He's
He
a,
is,
he's he reminds me of a home run hitter in baseball. Like he swings for the fences, and that's good and bad.
and all you guys that are crying about inconsistencies, you guys seem to be most of the people that cry like that are the younger guys that love Dursey. But the second he's the biggest problem about our inconsistencies. If he's more consistent, I think the entire team becomes more consistent. He's a bit of the straw that stirs our drink, and
So
he's as dangerous as he is offensively as he is a liability defensively, and I'm just sitting back watching. I'm enjoying the ebbs and flows right now. I mean, this is what sports are for. It's supposed to pull emotion out of us, and he sure does.
so if you're in the locker room with Dursey, wearing nothing but towels around your waist, what would you tell him?
Uh, I would like I tell all you guys when we're in the locker room and stuff like that. Are you stupid?
Come on, dude. I was trying to pull out a Top Gun quote out of you for all the Top Gun fans on here. Come on.
That's right. I am dangerous.
Every time you go out there.
Yeah, and it is. His decision making is very reminiscent of when Drew Doughty was really young, and what drove me crazy about Doughty. It's just like you're not that good to think that you can do that, and he's frustrating, but he's also very good on the other end of things. But to me, if that starts going away, then you're really going to have to sit him down and say, okay, you've dried up now. The offensive upside has dwindled. You need to tighten up defensively.
Right.
You can't make those stupid decisions. You just can't.
I do think he's our best power play quarterback on our team.
Yeah, for sure.
As of now. Until we bring up Brant Clark, right, Darren?
That'll be next year.
Right.
It's gone.
Darren,
I mean, yeah, he's excellent on the power play, and I think that's what drives a lot of the positives for him. I mean, maybe we need to figure out how to get someone else to play the 5-on-5 minutes and kind of play him how Philly and Arizona played, like Gostisbehere, where it's like you're going to play, 75% of our 5-on-4 minutes on offense, and you're going to play 8 to 10 minutes on defense. So I don't know.
Yeah, I kept getting pissed off the last few games. They kept throwing the Doughty power play unit out there to start instead of the Dursey unit, and that was pissing me off. And then who gives up a penalty kill goal tonight? A shorthanded goal tonight? Who was that?
Thursday. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
But
a
overall,
too.
But overall, they just move the pucks much better.
Yeah.
I think we should always start with that unit on the power play.
I will say I almost like Walker on that first unit more than Doughty sometimes because he's so much more mobile. And so like there was a play where the puck kind of, I think it was shot, comes around the boards, and Doughty wouldn't have got there, and Walker did. He kept it in, but nothing came of it, obviously.
Well,
but
you're definitely in the minority if you read Twitter, anything, because everybody wants Walker like booted from the team.
I'm not saying I want him, he needs to stay on the team just because of that. But I'm saying I like the element he brought in his speed on that unit.
Sure. I don't think it's a mobility thing, Darren. I just think that is a thinking ability. He was just thinking different things and
Yeah,
doing different things because I think physically, I think Dowdy is still more capable than Walker. But
yeah,
when you bring in a fresh set of eyes and a new way to think, he did get to different places and he didn't hold on to the puck like Dowdy does. He's like, okay, I don't want this. Here, go give it to somebody else. So it it kind of looks like he's being more mobile, but
yeah.
All right, we got through Jersey. Who's next?
uh,
Who do we got? Who's next?
well, you're talking about Walker. I don't like using plus minus a whole lot sometimes, but when everyone's kind of scoring, we're scoring lots of goals. So if we're scoring lots of goals, why aren't we 10 games above 500? And it's because we're defensively irresponsible. And the way that shows itself sometimes is through plus minus and Walker is a -7. It's and it's yeah, goaltending was an issue. Oh, we haven't even we'll get there, right?
We'll get there. We'll get to goaltending.
Goaltending's an issue, sure, but what's in front of the goaltenders, is our defense just not very good? And is Walker the number one candidate for not very good?
Yeah, I think
Depends
he's
on the
a
day,
placeholder.
right?
In my opinion, he's a placeholder for Clark. I mean, I think once that tournament's over and he comes back, probably was that like January 3rd to 5th or something like that. I think he probably plays more often than not at that tail end of the season because I think they're going to try and get him to about 40 something games. So, but it's you definitely see the shortcomings with Walker.
Yeah, and just I want to circle back real quick too, a little bit. When you're talking about everyone saying Kopitar needs to go to the minors and he needs to be sent out to graze, and it just makes me so mad when people say the Kempe issues are obviously not Kopitar now because Kaliev and Fiala with Kopitar, I think they've been our best line. They generate so many opportunities, and Kopitar's starting to score and get things going, and I just I screw all you guys that hate Kopitar. That's all I gotta say. Just I don't understand you. I never will. And Mikey Anderson, he's good.
He is.
He doesn't
He's
get
growing on me
he
more
doesn't
and
get
more.
carried by Dowdy. Yeah, he's good.
Yeah.
Everyone talks about the Dano contract being the best thing we have. That Mikey Anderson at $1 million this year is the best contract on our team.
Right. Be interesting to see what happens with his next contract.
Yeah.
Let's keep going through the defensemen. What do you guys think about Edler? Is he playing too much?
I think he could use a rest. I think when he plays, he's just another one of the guys like Jersey and Walker and everyone else. Like he has moments where he's fine, and he has one or two times a game where he does something stupid and he makes a turnover and he sticks his knee out and trips a guy, and now we're on a penalty kill and we get scored on. So, but I think he's fine for what he's being asked to be. He's our sixth defenseman, seventh defenseman sometimes. But like
his negatives to me are he's kind of a pylon out there, but his positives are he's like our only defenseman that plays physical and hits people. So,
yeah.
Well, Mikey does.
Mikey's getting there, yeah, and he's starting to do some hip checks too. It's kind of fun to watch.
Just all across the board for our defense. It's really hard to sit here and nitpick things when I think our lineup of defensemen is just wonky anyways. You know how we all feel. We all think Moverare should be in there and more often, and Jersey, so Jersey could play his right side, and I don't even mind. Bjornfoot was want to talk about mobile today.
Yeah.
Yarnfoot was
He-
out there moving around and doing things, and
yeah.
we need to sooner or later just bite the bullet and say, all you right-handed defensemen, you guys just aren't good enough, and play who we need to play.
Yeah. I think there's a sports writer, Bill Simmons, who wrote about basketball, and he talks about how there's a problem sometimes with teams where they have too many guys. And I think that's our problem. We have too many guys. Like, we need to kind of give everyone a role, and we haven't quite done that. And we have, we have,
That noise you're making right now, Darren, is the record playing over and over and over again. That
yeah,
we have too many guys. We need to package
Right.
a deal. We need to
yeah.
ship some guys off. But
I mean, you think about forwards too, like a little tangent, like what happens when, if we bring up Byfield, like are we putting Iafallo on the fourth line
yeah,
or Kempe?
that's exactly what I'm talking about. Bite the bullet and just do what you got to do.
Yeah. Yep.
If somebody is better than somebody else, regardless of contract, regardless of loyalties, if we have 9 guys better than Iafallo, then Iafallo is on the fourth line. That's
Yeah.
it.
100%.
But if Iafallo is one of those 9 guys, well, then he plays third. It's pretty simple. Who's playing well, who's not?
Yeah.
Any thoughts on Matt Roy before we switch over to forwards?
No.
He's fine. I mean, I think he's less noticeable than some of the other guys, but I mean,
In some ways, that's a good thing, right?
Yeah, he has his moments too. So,
All right, let's go to Joe's boy since he's not here tonight. What were you saying about Grunstrom?
Is he the odd man out right now? Is it when you sit there, just tonight's game only? You know, you sit there and think of all the guys, even Jad, who I don't think should be.
I was just going to bring up Jad. I was like, Jad's odd man out, but then he's been stepping up his game.
Yeah, you know. Well, is he stepping up his game just because he scored tonight?
Well, in comparisons to like the other guys at the bottom of the lineup. So what Grunstrom is, he's a -5 plus minus. I know you love your plus minus,
yeah.
And Jad is he's a +3. So
yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
Right, and even with those numbers, when Byfield's healthy and he comes on up, and I just think those guys need to fall by side.
yeah, I think you're going to get a lot of crying did when we lost Clegg, was that a year and a half ago or whatever? Because, oh no, we're losing a guy for nothing. But it's like, sometimes it's not a bad thing. It's, it can be an addition by subtraction. And even if we lose a guy for nothing, or we don't get a dollar for dollar value as far as like what he's worth as an asset. At the end of the day, moving people into his position who are playing better is part of the value you have to add when you're considering those things. So,
I got a question for you, Rodney.
Yep.
Arthur Kaliev has been on the number 1 line now for a few games.
Mm-hmm.
Does he belong there?
I think he belongs so far. He's not the driver of the line. So if he's the one trying to push the puck up, he's a little too slow for that. But the unit as a whole, with him being up there, I do like him. I do like his play up there. And have you guys noticed this about Kaliev? In the last 3 or 4 games, he's starting to play more physical. He's actually throwing his body around, grinding it out in the corners.
The physical play with him and the passing, I think you see that a lot with this line where Fiala can sneak away and he hits him backdoor kind of things.
Yeah, and he sees and thinks the game well enough. That pass he gave Kopitar for Kopitar's first goal of today's game was awesome. I mean,
Right.
he trailed the play. Fiala found him. He goes, oh, well, there's Kopitar, head man to Kopitar, and it was done. I think him playing there, talking about too many guys, when you put Kempe on that line instead of Kaliev, we want to talk about, too many, and then I think if you have Kopitar and Fiala together, I really do think you need a guy like Kaliev, a young kid that it's okay if he doesn't have gaudy numbers because he's young and we're not paying him a whole lot of money, and and I think he's very complimentary right now. And I think that's a good. I think that line needs to stay for a while.
Yeah,
I really
I'd like to see them build up chemistry in that line. Keep it
Yeah, I was
together,
surprised
Todd.
when
I know you watch this, Todd. Keep it together.
I was surprised when he started there because I think he started a couple games there last season, and like it was like he played 2 shifts and then they like changed the lines again. So I was kind of surprised he coach didn't immediately switch it up again, but pleasantly surprised.
What are you guys' thoughts on Fiala earning his money? All good?
Yeah,
Yep.
I mean, I think if we want to talk about guys costing us points, he has kind of cost us 2 overtime games, but you'll take what he does every day. I mean, it's kind of unfortunate what's happened to him in the overtimes where he has a turnover and then he puts the puck in our own net. But it is
Without
what it is. He's awesome.
Darren, without looking, what do you think his plus minus is?
It's like, is he a minus? He's probably like a -1, huh?
He's even.
He's even.
He's even. Yeah.
And I don't know about today's game, so going into today's game, he's even. Speaking of that, then you throw Arvidsson. What do you think Arvidsson's plus minus is, Rodney, going in today's game?
If I were to guess, I would say -5.
Yes, he's not.
I'm also looking at the stats right here, but
Oh, okay.
pretty good guess though,
I was
right?
gonna say, hey, yeah.
So, but if you're just going by watching the games, you're like, ever since you called out Arvidsson a few games ago, he's been playing
well
good.
today, I
He's
thought.
scoring, getting points. So
See, to me, he's our offensive dirt. He's our forward Dursey. I
like that.
think I don't think he does a whole lot defensively. But how can you knock a guy that has 22 points in 28 games? I mean, I guess you could, but I don't think. I think his numbers are a little inflated because he cheats. I really do. I think he cheats offensively.
He's a cherry picker on our team.
Yeah, and I would like to see him.
I mean, if you're gonna cheat, you might as well score in those breakaways, right? Like today.
Right. Who knows?
All right, let's keep going on that second line. What do you guys think about Danault this year?
He's I feel like he's been the one thing that when he got here, it was his faceoffs. Like, oh, he's a top tier faceoff guy, and I know he's above 50% now, but like a couple weeks, like maybe a week ago, he was under 50%, and so I that's 50% before today. I don't know what he did today. That's the one thing you're like, he provides faceoffs, and he's a strong from the back kind of player. He's gonna back check. I think the one issue I have with him is he's done it like 3 or 4 times now where he dives to try and make a play on a puck, and it leads to a 3-on-2 and we get scored on it. It's like, it's a little unfortunate that it's happened every time he's dived for it, but dove for it. But like, it's one of those things of like, hey, just get back, get body position instead of trying to dive for it. You know what I mean? So
I feel like his all
he's been
around.
fine.
I feel like his all around game has regressed just a little bit from last year. Not much, but just it's not quite as good as he was last year so far.
And maybe that I think he's playing where his level is. I think last year he played above.
Yeah.
I think this is where Danault is, and I'm okay with it. 52% on the faceoffs, Darren.
Right.
And
I know he was above 50 now, but I'm saying like a couple weeks ago, he was well below 50. Like he was
Right.
at like 48, and it's like, if you're an elite faceoff guy, you need to be 52, 53, right? I mean,
right, and
Kopi's
unless
56.
you're Kopitar and you're at 60%.
yeah.
Right?
That's how good Kopitar is.
Oh no, that guy belongs in the minors. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
he's terrible.
Come on,
right?
bruh. Trevor Moore, Mr. Thousand Oaks. How do you think he's
Who?
doing?
Where's he been?
Yeah, I'm asking Darren. What do you think? He's been up in the office trying to sign a new contract. That's what he's been doing.
Yeah. I mean, I think that whole line 5-on-5 hasn't contributed very much these last, if I had to guess, 7-8 games. They've been kind of quiet.
Ooh, are you saying it's finally time to break up that Danault line?
I mean, I've said that before where it's like, you know what the combination does. Like you can put that back together, and I think they have pretty easy chance to get their chemistry back together. So it's like if you swap a couple guys in there, I mean, it's not a huge loss to try and tinker with it and find a better combo.
What do you think, Rob?
Yes, I'm ready for it. I'm for the longest time that line's been the one we don't touch, right? That's
Yeah.
you guys are complaining about consistency. Well, then we're going to have to change things up then, right? Because if we continue to do what we're doing, sounds like people aren't happy. So let's.
All right, Coach Rob. Second line, Deneau centering what two forwards for the next game if it's up to you?
Wow.
I know one already. I want to try, but I'll let you go first.
I'm going to go off the board, and I'm going to go Velarde and Fogimo.
Oh, a couple righties, huh? Give him two righties. Has he ever played with two righties? That'd be interesting to find out. I was going to say Velarde as well.
Yep.
And then maybe maybe try Kempe there. See if somebody can spark some
I was going to say Iafallo.
energy with him.
I was going to say Iafallo. The problem with Kempe is if we play Kempe in the first two lines now, because we don't have a Kupari or Byfield up, now we have to go Lizotte or Jared Anderson Dolan as our third line center. So we've kind of shoehorned ourselves to playing Kempe on the third line, which not a terrible thing necessarily, but not necessarily something you want.
For all you kids out there watching, Darren, can you explain what shoehorn is?
It's this thing it helps you put your shoes on, right?
Right.
I don't know. I've seen it in a museum once or something.
Hey,
there you go.
Now that we're talking about that, I'm just thinking out loud. Kempe centering Arvidsson?
Yeah.
Does that
Get
work?
some Swedish.
Is that some magic right there?
Well, let's go even farther. Are you guys more sold on Kempe as a winger or as a center?
I think I want him as a winger, but I think with the way the guys we've sent down and the guys we've kept up, we kind of have to play him as a center.
So until Byfield comes up, you're good with him playing center?
Yeah, either Byfield or Kupari. We kind of, I mean, I think we saw how us rolling Lizotte, Jared Anderson, Dolan as our 3-4 centers, it didn't quite work as well, as another guy in there.
And you feel that Kempe is good enough defensively to be a center on our team?
I think that's why they paired him with Iafallo, because they can just kind of like Iafallo plays center, forward 3, whatever you want to call her, in the defensive zone.
So maybe that's it. Maybe that's the easy fix right there. So keep him with Iafallo, bump Velarde up at the second line, pull Arvidsson down, like Rob was saying, onto that third line. See how that looks.
Yep.
Be cool to see.
Rodney, I got a question for you.
Yes.
Copley. As I was watching,
number one goalie. What?
As I was watching our Kings just skate around and never finish any kind of hits, no one ever bangs into anybody, I start to think, whose fault is that? Is that a system, Todd McClellan system, that we don't finish checks, that we don't bang bodies? Or is that this is who Rob Blake has put on our roster? We have rostered nothing but guys that do not like to bang into the boards. And does it matter?
I'm going with option 2. Definitely think it's the type of people management is drafting or picking up through free agency. They try to address it with Lemieux a little bit, but he's more of a, hey, I'll stick up for teammates and throw the gloves if I need to. He's not.
He's more of a pest than a banger.
I want guys like Shane Churla, Ian LaPerriere, Eric Lacroix, those kind of guys that just run around out there and just check people all game long. That's what we're missing in our lineup. And I don't really think it's coached. You can't coach all of our softies to try to hit people, and they've never done that in their entire lives. So I'm going to say it's management, and
And
I'm gonna say we do need it on our team.
we don't even have it on a fourth line. Even it's not even. And like you said, you're trying to say
What are you talking about, Rob? Are you kidding me? Our enforcer, Lazat, do you not see what's going on? He's running around. He's running around checking people. He's dropping the gloves. I mean, if anybody's gonna do it, it's gonna be our smallest guy, right? So that makes sense.
How much shit do you think Lemieux gave him for that fight?
Oh, Lemieux was all over that. Lemieux was. If he's
Yeah.
did he travel with him? If he's up there, he was. Yeah, he loved every minute of that.
What do you think, Darren?
Like,
Sam, what do you think?
all right, I'm gonna give you an option 3, and you're not gonna like it.
Of course.
I think it's a little bit driven. It's option 2 and option 3. It's driven from our team's leadership on the ice, and that's Kopitar. What is Kopitar? What is he? I mean, he hits, but he's not a killer. You know what I mean? And I think we have teams a lot of times take on their best players like traits. You know what I mean? Like you look at like teams like the Oilers last season. You know what I mean? You look at
they were all
guys.
Connor McDavid. Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they try and beat. You know what I mean? Those guys all try and fucking dangle around everyone.
I get it.
And so Kopitar is not a killer. He's a physical player, but he's not a killer. And I think part of it is driven from that. I think the players we have aren't meant for that, but it also comes from how our top players play.
Right.
I think another thing too is hitting is kind of a weird stat because when do you hit people? When you don't have the puck. And what are the Kings generally, when they're playing well, what do they have? The puck. So it's kind of one of those like teams with less hits are actually probably the better teams in some regards because they have the puck more. If I had to guess, I'm not looking at the stats. Maybe I'm completely wrong on that.
You're right. You're right. That is the general rule. But I'm not even talking about hitting. I'm not talking human missiles out there. I'm just talking the opponents have the puck. They pass the puck up, and our guys veer rather than just finish.
Yeah.
Finish your check, finish your shots, finish it.
That is true.
We're a bunch of not finishers. And just those things. And I've been saying it. That's my biggest knock on Kaliev. And Rodney brought up that he's actually been trying to put a shoulder into somebody a little bit here and a little bit there. And it's just sad. It's just sad when we do have Kempy's a big boy. Grunstrom's solid. Kaliev is a big boy. These guys can be shaking the boards.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying going around looking for the hits. It's just when they're presented, finish.
Yeah. Why turn around and skate away when the hit's right there?
Exactly. They do. They just
that pisses me off too.
Yeah. So I don't know.
It grinds my gears.
It is what it is, and obviously we're not the ones making the team. That's why I was wondering, is it the makeup of the team, or is this a McClellan, hey guys, I want you to veer off and hustle back?
I'm sure he's not saying that. Hey guys, whatever you do, don't check people.
I mean, if you think about it too, like a lot of times when you get a lot of penalties against you, it's those kind of dumb plays where you hit someone, you hack them, you slash them, and we are a very good penalty drawing team. And when we're playing well, we don't give out a lot of penalties. And part of that could be that we don't throw unnecessary hits, which could be questionable, you know what I mean, kind of thing.
Fiala.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, again, it's a positive and minus. I think you would for sure love to see them, finish their checks when they're presented, but if they're not hitting because they have the puck, that's also not a problem.
I would love to have like a hot mic on the ice to hear what the other players are saying whenever Lazat draws a high sticking call. They're saying stuff like, he's 3 feet tall. They're saying stuff like that, but I wish I could hear that. But it is the holiday season, so let's talk about the white elephants in the room. What do you start with?
Peterson.
Let's do it.
He got sent down, rightfully so, right?
Rightfully, in my book, yes.
Has looked pretty damn good in his I've seen him 3 games in at the Reign. I don't know if that's all he's played. I don't know if he's played a fourth or not, but the
Sure.
3 games I've seen him play down in the Reign, oh my God, it's night and day. I've said this in previous podcasts. The goalie position is such a mental, it's a mindset. And if they're just not straight in the head, things just go sideways. And he's down there not moving. He's still. He's not sliding side to
He's
side.
not overreacting.
Exactly. And guess what? He's won 3 games.
I could almost say the same thing about Phoenix Copley coming up and just sitting there in net and just not overreacting, and has by far the best goals against and save percentage on the team.
So
Small sample size, of course, but
right. We got goaltending issues. I get it. Here's my question to you, Darren.
Mm-hmm.
Jonathan Quick is terrible. And
He's been terrible this year.
Don't give me.
We love you, Jonathan. But
I want to know:
yeah.
is it him, or is it the play in front of him?
I think.
Don't tell me it's bull.
He's
I'm
combination
asking,
was the next word coming out of his mouth.
I know. I said, don't tell me bull. You tell me right
probably
now.
Was. You're right.
Jonathan Quick is the issue, or the people in front of him are the issue. I only want one answer.
I will say I think the fact that we have 2 goalies who have struggled tells me I think it's more the defense how we play than the goaltender itself. Because there's time. I mean, look at like their 4th goal, whatever the shorthanded goal was, 3rd goal, 4th goal, when it's like Jersey makes a play, breaks up a pass, and just picks his stick up off the ice, not ready for the second pass, and it's passed and in. Like there's no, Quick makes that save. That's a top 10 play. You know what I mean? And he's not getting any help in front of him.
Here's was my issue when Calvin was up with us, and it's still happening to Quick. I'm still jumping out of my seat a couple times a game at some of the saves Quick is making. It's like, oh my God, why do we suck? Why are we hanging him out to dry so much? And he's making some huge saves. But goals keep going in. Our penalty kill sucks. Your best penalty killer has to be your goalie. So sooner or later, is it Quick's fault? Rodney?
I don't think it's a combination at all, but I do think it's both. Can I go with that? Because, yeah, like Darren said, they're hanging him out to dry. Like you said, they're hanging him out to dry. But there's also a lot of goals he's letting in that normally he would save 90% of the time. I'm like, that one he should have had.
I think, too, there's a little bit of the mental aspect you're talking about where it's like, he's getting hung out to dry. So maybe he's kind of like, he's throwing his head back, and he's not doing it on the ice. I don't see him, being that emotive on the ice, but figuratively, he's like, come on, guys, like, what are we doing? Why is this guy wide open next to me for an easy goal?
So Darren,
you know what I mean?
Darren, if you're Quick, not if you're Quick, but do you think Quick is thinking like let's say there's a 2-on-1 coming in on Quick, right? And the one defenseman back is Jersey. Do you think he sees it's Jersey and he's like, "Oh shit"? What do you think?
Yeah, 100%. He sees 5 and he's just like, damn it. So,
which is every time.
Right.
If every scramble, every odd man rush, Jersey's on the ice.
I got a question for you too, for both of you. Rob, you're gonna have a lot more people to choose from than Darren, I believe, on this one. Let's say we could pick any 2 defensemen from hockey's past to help fix our team, and they are in their prime right now. 2 defensemen, go, Rob.
Zdeno Chara and Chris Pronger.
Oh, wow. Okay. What about you, Darren?
I mean, if you want to go big names, if you want, I think you can pull from the Kings. You can pull from the Kings past their cup teams. You just go Rob Scuderi, Willie Mitchell. I mean,
okay.
Just get some lefties who can bang and play defense.
All right. Cool. Well,
Only
I'll
reason
just
why I
throw
didn't-
mine. I'll just
only
throw
reason
mine
why I
out there.
didn't-
I'll go. I'm gonna throw Lidstrom and Ray Bork out there. Anyway,
Those
Jersey would still
be
let in a bunch of 2-on-1s, so it doesn't matter.
those would be my greatest defensemen of all time, Rodney. But we just got through talking about banging and throwing the
Sure.
weight around and just
right.
and Chara and Pronger.
Well, they can never score on us because
left-handed, the two of the meanest left-handed defensemen ever played.
that is
the
true.
game, so.
Well, if we're going that, I'm throwing Scott Stevens out there. He would take care of. He wouldn't put up with this soft Kings team right now. I'll tell you that.
I mean, I think Scott Stevens, that hit he had on Paul Kariya is one of my first hockey memories of watching the game where he nearly killed a guy on the ice.
That hit was so hard. That's what divided and actually created both North and South Korea, because before that it was just one Korea. But go ahead.
Who plays on the Kings first, Byfield or Peterson?
I was gonna say Byfield too. He's been down the long. He's been developing his game longer. I don't know. Peterson's only been down for 3 games now, 3 or 4 games. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
And
carried it
also,
up.
how do you send Copley down what if Copley wins every game that he starts? Are you gonna send him down?
Oh, you better not have just jinxed it,
What if that happens?
Rodney.
Hey, that's a good jinx.
That's gonna.
That you don't like that jinx? Copley wins every game that he starts.
No, because now he's going to lose the next game he plays.
Well, then
So-
then your boy Calvin can come back up.
Brings me up to a fan issue here. Stupid Alex Faust in today's game sits there and says, I forget exactly what he said.
He said
Oh.
the Kings have a terrible penalty kill.
No,
they score.
he said Columbus Blue Jackets have the worst power play in the NHL. They score. He goes, right on cue. He says the words, right on cue, they score. So what you're telling me, because if you understand the English language, what cue means, it's, hey, I'm going to line something up, and in this order, it happens. Okay. So he purposely said that so they can score and say, hey, right on cue, they score. He is just the biggest jinx, anti-king. I can't believe he's our announcer.
So-
He makes the whole fan experience terrible for me.
So speaking of the jinx part of that, I think it was maybe it was in Montreal, or I don't know, it was 1 or 2 games ago. Whatever team we were playing had not got a shot on goal in like 10 minutes. So instead of not saying anything so that the Kings could keep this play up, he goes, wow, it's been like 10 minutes since they got a shot on goal against the Kings. And sure enough, like 5 seconds later, they get their first shot on goal. I'm like, that's jinx material right there. So I do see that stuff. Darren, I don't know if Darren
to
sees it.
send him. I missed the Montreal game.
No, but Darren, he could have easily just not said anything.
Yeah.
After they got a shot on goal, then he could have said, wow, they finally got a shot on goal after 10 minutes. But why would you jinx it beforehand? That's my question.
So what you need to do, you two should create a power play for Alex Faust to send to him and be like, here's things to not say, and here's things you do need to say.
A PowerPoint, you mean?
The PowerPoint. Did I say power play? I mean,
That's
brain's on
hockey on the brain. I get it.
Yeah. So create a PowerPoint for him and teach him how not to jinx or to jinx in the opposite fashion. Maybe he doesn't.
I would love to, but he's blocked me. With the Kings' next 4 games being Sabres, Bruins on the road, come home to play our California rivals, Sharks and Ducks. In the next 4 games, Darren, how many points will the Kings get?
We should get 6, but we're probably going to get 5. We're going to be disappointed with one of those games.
So 5 out of 8 is a disappointment?
We'll have a stupid shootout loss to San Jose or something like that. We'll be disappointed because we dominated the game and Timo Meier scored 4 goals again.
Rodney, how many points we getting?
Next 4 games?
Yep.
If we keep our current goalie combo up, I'm going to say Copley wins both of his games. Quick wins 1 out of 2, so I'm going to go 6 points.
So that means Alex Faust is big. Oh, we haven't won back-to-back games, and since November. That means we're going to win back-to-back games sooner or later.
Yes.
We're
Well,
gonna
the
need.
difference is I'm a Kings fan, so I'm gonna say yes, and I'm also positive
you.
about our team. So
Thank you, Rodney. So trying not to get too far ahead. It would be nice to go on a little heater. Obviously, Bruins is the big roadblock out there. You know, they're the best team in the NHL. Blah blah blah. If we could sneak a little win streak here, I think we need it because afterwards, the next 4 games after that, Golden Knights, Flames, Avalanche, Coyote, you know, it's a little reverse action. 1 softy and 3 tough ones. So
that's what she said.
yeah, exactly. I just be prepared for more up and down roller coaster, Kings fans. I mean, this is the grind of the NHL season, and if every other week we could still pick up another game above 500, we're fine.
Yeah.
Stop wanting to commit suicide, and stop wanting to blow up the team, and stop wanting to fire everybody. Just chill out.
Yeah,
Jesus.
take all that energy, take that negative energy, turn it into positive energy by going to Kings games and being loud. I don't know why crypto.com has been so quiet lately. Is it because it's a crypt now and it's just so quiet in there? It's pretty embarrassing. Darren, bring your posse over there and make it loud.
For sure.
You know what? The Bruins game's on the road, but we play them at home in less than a month in January 5th.
Yes, I'm
know,
down to
the
go if you're going.
Bruins fans, I guess, have been running amok. I guess there was a big old brawl in Arizona with Bruins fans and stuff like that. Maybe we
I
should
saw
get
that.
the crew. Let's get the crew together and just
Go to Boston?
go to the Kings game when they come
Oh, I'm
in
down.
January 5th when they come to LA, and just let's thug it up like we used to with
Yeah, let's
all
do it.
120 plus that
Should
we used
we
to bring.
eat a little chowder for the game?
Let's get Derek to get all his boys.
Well, let's
down,
do it.
and Mike.
Let's hop in the car right now.
Oh, Rodney, you're the best.
That's a good idea. Let's try to make that happen. Darren, you're the big baller here. You want to get us a suite? Yeah, that's not really thugging it up. We're all in the suite, kicking back.
I was gonna say you said thugging it up, and then you said Mike's name, so I don't know if that quite is true.
We'll go back up to the 300s, where Rob and I had season tickets.
Maybe call in the little brother, Rod. We need Bobby out here.
Right. Yeah, Rob and I used to be Dave Taylor diehard season ticket holders. Whatever happened? So if you never got rid of those tickets, do you still get that Dave Taylor deal? Somebody comment below. Let me know if you guys still get that Dave Taylor diehard section combo. What was it? 315, 3, somewhere in the 300s up there in the corner.
All I know is I miss sitting behind the net, top row, where I could just stand the entire game. And
Top row's legit. I put the seat up and sit on top of the seat while it's up.
Yeah.
It's good stuff.
Toronto Maple Leafs, Engvall, two-hand slash Dursey. Go on to Twitter right away, and every single Maple Leaf fan who's the most repugnant fan base in the NHL, they're terrible. They're sitting there going, "Oh, he dove. He got slashed in the head. He's wearing a helmet."
Yeah.
It took him a second to figure out, okay, I'm okay. He didn't roll around like a soccer player.
He got slashed in the neck, didn't he? Like just below the helmet,
He jumps back up.
if I remember right.
He skates on over, and now you're going to boo him because you're an idiot? And then they're sitting there going, "Oh, watch, we'll get 8-game suspension because we're Toronto." He gets a 1-game suspension. Meanwhile, two other guys that had head contact on the same day, Skinner and someone else, they get 3 games apiece.
Right.
So because you're Toronto, you only got 1 game.
Exactly.
You stupid morons.
They try to reverse bias us. It didn't work.
And no one's saying anything about the head contact to Kaliev.
Mm-hmm.
In center. That was complete shoulder to head. That's exactly what they want to take out of the game. And there wasn't even a review.
Nope.
So right here, Toronto. You can have that. There, I've hated two fan bases my entire hockey fan life: Toronto and Anaheim. And Toronto doesn't disappoint.
All right, Kings fans, that is our show for today. Don't forget to like and subscribe and like and all those things.
And share.
Till next time, stay classy. Go Kings, go.
Go Kings.
Okay.